Alright, hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle Story Time here on Bite-Sized Beefs. So if you remembered last episode, all this audio, all the commentary track for this episode is gone. This is the last Storytime episode that there will be, so you don't have to worry, it'll be back to its regular programming on the next set. But, yeah, where we left off on our last Storytime bit was the PlayStation 4. Now, it's not just any regular PlayStation 4 that I picked up. I happened to pick up a PlayStation 4 Pro, because I wanted it to be able to put out in a really decent resolution. Not that I have, like, a 4K TV to play it on yet, but I wanted it to be able to play on a decent resolution without frame drops, you know, that kind of thing. I just want it to be a smooth experience. Oh, and we've got the cutscene here with Bowser Jr. and Visor, as I call him for the show. I know his name's Spawny, but I really like calling him Visor because he's got that cool little visor. So I won't commentate I won't do the Bowser Jr. voice like I normally do, because this is story time. This is different. This is a whole different bag. Cat's out of the bag. Pardon? I'll remember to delete that. But yeah, so I have the PlayStation 4 Pro because I thought it would be a better investment for doing games for the show, because if I want to be able to show off a good product, I don't want games that will chug or slow down on a regular PlayStation 4, because I've heard that there is some iffy games on there that will drop some frames here and there. And there he goes, dropping Visor like the PlayStation 4 regular will drop frames. Ha-ha! Jokes. Yeah, sorry about that. So, I was just at a game shop. I'll tell you how I bought it. So I was just at the game shop, and I asked if they had any PlayStation 4 Pros left in stock, because sometimes they put things on display, but they're just like empty boxes to show that they will maybe have some in, which is kind of really, scared, or not scared. I was looking at Baby Bowser and he got scared, Bowser Jr. But it's kind of stupid, because it's like, why would you put out boxes that don't have systems in it to display to make it look like you have them? It's dumb. It's showing off a product that you can't sell because you don't have it, which is really weird. So I get up to the cash register, I ask if they have one in stock, so they go in the back, pull one out for me, and I actually go ahead and, this was at a GameStop for you Americans, but it was EB Games for us Canadians, and so I don't have one of their membership cards. Oh yeah, we're triggering the red coins. I love me these red coins. I love them. But, so I don't have one of their Edge cards, their premium membership cards, so as the last time I was there at EB Games, I don't frequent there too much because I try and go to my local mom and pop shop. Yeah, so I was there and I don't have the Edge card, so I turned around to the people in line behind me and I just kind of shouted out, "Hey, does anybody have an Edge card and want like some serious points?" And even the lady working the register was like, "Yeah, like if you give them your Edge card, you're going to get a buttload of points." Because I don't know if you guys know this, for Americans, you'll know how much it is in American, but in Canadian, that's like a $560 purchase. So, that's a big investment for a PlayStation 4 Pro. So this young man, I call him young man because I'm a little bit older than probably a lot of people watching right now. But, so this young man raises his hand, and he goes, oh, well, before he raises his hand, I yell out, "Anybody, first person, raise your hand, whatever, first person, first come, first serve." And this young man raises his hand, he goes, "I've got an Edge card." And so I point at him, and I go, "You, sir, have just won the sweepstakes of raising your hand first." And, just making a spectacle of it, just having a good time. And so he walks over, hands me his Edge card, I hand it to the lady, she hands it back to me, and I hand it back to him, and he's like, "Oh, thanks, man." I'm like, "Hey, no problem, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, like, I hope you get something good with the points." Because, I mean, yeah, if I had not done that, then all those, like, rewards points would have just gone to waste. They would have gone into the ether, and nobody would have been the wiser. I also have no idea why I stopped here for so long. I think this might have something might have happened and I had to go deal with it, but there's just been no movement on the screen whatsoever for 2 minutes. So if you're hearing this now and it's not stuck on the screen where I'm looking at the fish sticks, I cut it out. I cut it out to save time. Because you don't want to be looking at that. That's just, that's garbage. So, but yeah, as I said in the last episode, I'm actually watching this with you guys. I have this on my screen right now, watching my footage, and just talking to you guys, so I can comment on the game and little things that are happening, just so you can get a little bit of that commentary, but also a little bit of story time with me. Because, I usually don't get a lot of chances to share personal stuff, plus, I don't usually know exactly what people would want to hear from me. Like, you know, I mean, obviously it's not like I'm not going to ask you guys, like, what do you want to know? Because I'm not doing an interview or anything, but it's also, you know, what do I share? What don't I share? I'm still learning that kind of mix. So, you know, oh, and here we are, we're grabbing a weapon. And we got, what was this weapon we got? We got the special delivery. All right, that's cool. I remember that. It's the mailbox. You can beat your foes with a mailbox, which I thought was really cool. So, yeah, and that's how I got the PlayStation 4. And I actually ended up having to go back to that EB Games because they were supposed to give me the Call of Duty World War II for free for buying it. I really didn't care about the Call of Duty World War II. It's not my kind of game. So, but they did, right? And it was actually a physical copy. So I ended up taking that to my local game shop and getting some really decent trade-in store credit because I know the owner. And so I bought Fallout 4 for my PlayStation 4, and then I still have trade credit left over. They didn't have Bloodborne. I really wanted to get Bloodborne because, spoiler warning, I'm doing a Bloodborne playthrough for the show. Right? So on this channel, sometime within the next month or two, you guys are going to be getting me playing through Bloodborne. Because, from what I've been told, a lot of people really liked the Cuphead playthrough because it was a bit difficult and it challenged me, and they just liked the whole... they liked the aesthetic of it, and they liked the amount of difficulty it provided me. It provided me with a challenge. So I wanted to get into another game that would also provide me with a challenge that I also was really excited to play. And I know I just spent some time talking about the whole dark and dingy and colorless thing, but I like the aesthetic of the old Victorian era, or Elizabethan era. I forget which era it's very similar to, but I like... Oh, and the Critical Honey! I'll always shout those out. So... You know, I always liked that old-looking aesthetic, so that appeals to me. And I do know that there is some color in Bloodborne here and there, which I like, because for a lot of times it's going to be dark and gritty, but then you do get those splashes of color, which is like, oh, this is nice. Too bad I'm getting a dragon putting its giant foot in my face, and now I'm dying hard. Right? So there's that little bit of, you know, color contrast in there to provide that. So yeah, I hope you guys are going to be looking... I keep hitting that cord. Jeez. But that's some real behind-the-scenes stuff for you. But, you know, I really do hope that you guys are going to be excited for Bloodborne. And, hey, I mean, I might as well ask you now. Like, when that episode goes up, share it! Share it everywhere! Like, comment, subscribe, share, oh, ah! You know, like I'm supposed to be doing that every episode, but I don't. Right? I ask you guys to do the questions of the day because answering the questions of the day does help. Right? It really does. It helps me, and I like to see you guys commenting and providing me with your thoughts and such. It, you know, sometimes it makes my day. Oh, right, another one of these huge critical burns. That happened because these dudes are just crazy with their grenades. But yeah, you know, I have seen some comments that are saying, like, you know, oh, why don't you have more subscribers? Like, you don't even have 100 subscribers. How is that even possible that you don't have 100 subscribers? And to that, I just say, well, I'm doing the best I can. Mostly I'm just doing this for fun and, you know, just to keep up some skills, learn some new things, and to have fun. I do a lot of things in life for fun. So, you know, if you guys really feel that I deserve more subscribers, then I will sincerely ask you to like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share. You know, sharing on other social medias, following my Twitter, following my Facebook page. By the way, they're both at, you know, What Beef, WHATBIIF. You know, so that if you really do truly believe that I am something who should, or I am something, that my videos are something that you would like more people to be aware of, then I really do need your help with that. I can only do so much as, you know, me as the person behind the computer and as the personality. So, I know see, it feels really weird to ask you guys that, but that is the truth. In order to grow, I need support. Right? Just like a flower or any sort of anything in a garden, in order for it to grow, it needs the proper nutrition, it needs the proper growth, it needs all the proper properties of growth. So it needs to have an environment, it needs to have a proper nutrients, it needs to have a proper amount of sun. So like all those things do translate into a YouTube channel as well. I need likes, right? I need people to share, I need people to comment. You know, and then I need people to come back and reply to comments as well, or even thumbs up my comments. Just, it's all those small things that come together to help get my channel spread out there. If that's what you guys, you know, believe I deserve. Because in my heart, I believe that if I just keep doing this for fun, eventually I'll have a small audience and, I'll catch wind of some good people and such. So, that's what I believe. I believe if I just keep doing this for fun and keep having fun with it, then I will grow on my own natural pace. But hey, that's just me. And, I've let you know how you can help out, so we'll move on to the next storytime topic, which actually brings me into a cool thing that I wanted to talk about, because there have been a lot of ideas for the show, especially back before I even started it, that I think it'd be really cool to just talk with you guys about, to discuss, to show you not even a behind the scenes of the show, but like a behind the creative mind kind of thing, so you can even get a level deeper than behind the scenes. So for the longest time, I thought that Beef, that's actually his name. His name is Beef T Monstar. Believe it or not, is the character there that I use for my But Is It Fun monster reviews, right? And before people ask, no, I'm not a furry, no, he's not a furry, it's literally just a cartoon character. And also that hammer time that just happened on screen. But yeah, no, he's just a cartoon character, and for those of you who might be wondering, his inspirations are obviously Bowser, My Pet Monster, Where the Wild Things Are, so he's got a little bit of aspects from all those monsters put into him as a monster and as a character. Just because, I don't know, I like cartoon characters. Oh, big surprise, I was talking about cartoons all last episode, jeez. So, yeah, those are his main inspirations. Like, even his face looks like Bowser, right? Because that's one of the things I requested my artistic friend, who I credit in all of my monster reviews. Go check him out. He's at Mundane Massacre. He does a lot of darker, grittier art, but he can do some cool cartoony stuff too. A very good friend of mine, so I'm gonna throw his link up on screen. Go follow him. Go bug him about how awesome he is. I love him. He's a very good friend. He's been a good friend of me for years. So I'm glad to have him helping me out. He's actually the one who also draws all of Beef's poses. So I also... You'll notice that from my first videos, he won't have certain poses, and as it goes on, he changes a little bit and gets more poses, because as I work towards getting a better product, I request more things from my friend Mundane Massacre, so more as time goes on, I get more and more assets for Beef. It's funny, because Beef's name isn't actually spelt B-I-I-F, it's spelt B-E-E-F. But here's another cool thing, another behind the scenes, is that the channel is called What Beef because the what is the game, and beef stands for B-I-I-F, but is it fun? So the channel name literally is name of the game, but is it fun? I know that's kind of like a weird little meta thing that you guys are now hearing, but I thought it was really... I thought it was clever. It's probably super dumb. But I also just thought it rolled off the tongue a bit too, like What Beef, and it opens up for a lot of good food puns and whatnot, like Bite-Sized Beefs. Bite-Sized Beefs I thought was another amazing idea, because they're tiny little things, right? Like little bite-sized bits of a game every time you get, so you can, ingest them however you like. And I also decided that I wasn't going to do the 10-minute episodes, because I see so many people, especially, like, I love the Game Grumps dearly. I love them so much and what they're doing. But I don't like the 10-minute format. I've never liked the 10-minute format. I know they have to keep on the 10-minute format because of what they're doing and the nature of how they're doing it, but I'm a very low channel, and I don't have, like, a multi-channel network, and I'm not Aaron Hansen, and I'm not Ego Raptor, who runs a business, right? I don't need to worry about all that stuff, because I'm not making CPM. I'm doing this all for free right now. I don't make money off these. I'm just doing it because I have fun, and the reason why I keep doing more and more is because I'm having more fun with it as I go along. So I kind of got a little off track there with what I was saying, but yeah, I don't like the 10-minute format. So that's why you always get 20 to 30 minutes each episode, because I feel in 10 minutes, you always have to stop just before something or in the middle of something, and I don't like that, because, yeah, I guess it gives the viewers a cliffhanger, but to me, it always felt more satisfying to have it like, yeah, we just cleared the level, and there's another level right beyond it, so we'll get to that one next time after we just finish this recent level. So that's where I'm at. That's why my I've even commented in previous episodes, because I try and stay pretty transparent, that 25 minutes is my butter zone, give or take 5 minutes. So anywhere between 20 and 30 minutes is where I want my episodes, because I think that's a nice, digestible amount of time. Also, this vampire shotgun that Rabbids Mario has is absolutely stellar. I'm in love with Rabbids Mario in this series now. I really wish I could swap out Mario for Rabbids Mario, but you just can't do that. And it's a big shame. It's one of the biggest drawbacks of this game, even though I love it so much. So, yeah, that's just another one of the things. I also had a little bit that I wrote down where every time I would say "my dude," I'd put a picture of Zaphod Beeblebrox on the screen for the reviews, which it's stupid and silly, but it never actually made it into the show too much. Right? Or what I had this whole plan originally was that the first season, every time I said "my dude," I would show a picture of Zaphod. Then once second season started, I would show a picture of the dude from The Big Lebowski. So, yeah, that's ridiculous, isn't it? I know, but that's why these are ideas that were scrapped, right? And, then there's the whole Animaniacs gags that I throw in there, because Animaniacs is one of my favorite cartoons of all time, just because I guess I grew up at the right time, and I had the right sense of humor for it, and it was that Warner Brothers aesthetic, so it really just struck a lot of chords with me, the Animaniacs did. So that's why the whole "mwah, good night everybody," and "hey, did you say hi to Christopher Walken?" and some other Animaniacs bits have been thrown into the show over time in my reviews, because that's just my little hint that I like Animaniacs. Plus their one-liners and their little, sight gags are fabulous, and they're so easy to just plop in somewhere. So, one of the earliest ideas that I had for the show was that Beef was actually going to have a Boston accent and be quite the vulgar monster. And I have no idea why I stopped here again. I was probably answering a text or checking the time on the phone, or who knows what happened. Sometimes things happened and I cut them out of the episode. But anyway, so Beef was going to have a Boston accent, and he was going to be rather rude. He was going to be pretty mean, pretty cynical. But then I took a sit down and I looked at a lot of YouTube channels that are on YouTube already, and I didn't want to contribute to the constant negative barrage of BS that a lot of YouTubers throw at you, right? Like, even recently, some friends that I hold dear unsubscribed from some certain YouTube channels because they're just sick of the whole angry gamer stereotype, or, the ranting and the constant F-bombs. I try very hard not to drop any major swears when I'm doing these episodes. I really do, because I am a very colorful person with speech. I like to swear. Swearing is fun. F-bombs are great. But don't use them, if you're too young. Pick and choose. Know your scenarios. Be smart about it. When you're an adult, you can drop F-bombs all you like, but even then, you still have to be smart about it. Alright, don't just be throwing cursor words around because they're funny. Show some people that you have a brain and that you can use it. It's basically what I'm saying. Right? Swears are fine and all. People will use them, haha. But if you're saying the F-bomb or swears every other word in your speech, people aren't going to like you as much, and it's just you're not going to be as appealing to other people. I'm not sorry to say it, because I do believe that's something that people need to learn, especially younger viewers of the show. Pick and choose what kind of speech you use, because it will affect how people see you. So yeah, I scrapped that idea pretty early on, and I wanted to go with a much more positive vibe. Oh, I hit the screen. Jesus. So I wanted to go with a positive vibe, and I don't know if you've noticed from the old monster reviews that I haven't done in a while, I'm working on the Zelda Breath of the Wild review, which isn't going to be structured like the regular reviews either. I'll be getting back to the normal reviews immediately after the Zelda one. Hopefully I'll do some PlayStation 4 reviews. That'll be great. Hit the new year up, probably in February, starting with new monster reviews in the classic format. But essentially, I wanted to go through and talk about each section of the game, like its gameplay, its story, its bonuses, etc., And then I wanted to make sure it was all positive. And then there was the section that's called I've Got Beefs, right? And, you know, I've got beefs and you should too. That's the whole reason, because these are the things in the game that are sometimes not excusable, right? Like in the case of Splatoon 2, Nintendo's decision to make Salmon Run a timed event rather than open all the time, that was one of the stupidest, absolutely insane, moronic decisions Nintendo has ever made. Because I stopped playing Splatoon 2 for a long while because every time I logged in, I couldn't play Salmon Run. I would log in and be like, oh, it's closed. So then I'd check back the next day and be like, why is it closed again? So then I'd wait a few days, and then I'd come back, and then that day just happened to be the third day of the week that it was closed. And I'm like, how is this even possible? Why is it closed so much? You know, and I would log in on the weekends, because I think it would definitely be open on the weekends, because logic would have it that if it's open on the weekends, all the people who are off work, who can have time to play video games, can play it on the weekend, or even out of school, right? If you're in school or have a job, you know that during the day, it takes a lot of your time, right? So when you get home, you want to come home and play the games that you like. But say if you're waiting for the weekend to play your, you know, Splatoon 2, and then you get back and you really want to play Salmon Run, but Salmon Run's closed. What are you supposed to do? Why would they close it on a weekend? And that was just one of the biggest moronic mistakes that Nintendo ever made. And that's why I made the beef section, the I've Got Beef section. Because not only is it on brand with the whole, you know, what beef brand that I talked about earlier, but it's also a good way to have a negative in the video, right? It compiles all of the negative things about something I want to talk about into a small section. And another thing about the I've Got Beefs is you'll notice that it's never the last thing I talk about in a video. I never want to end a video off on a negative, because that would set a whole different mood for the videos, and it would give my whole channel feel something completely different. So I always end a video on the coolest thing I thought about that game, right? Or just one of the biggest draws of the game. I always try and end it on a very good positive. So I talk about positive, 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 maybe sprinkle in a little negative, you know, maybe for a joke or here and there, right? And then go into the big negatives, like bugs or discrepancies I had with the game. But I always end on a positive. I never want to end it on a video. I never want to end a video on a negative note. It never seemed like something I ever wanted to do. So that was a really big departure from the original What Beef channel idea that I originally had. And it's amazing how much it's evolved and the things I've tried. Even with the Mario Odyssey Worlds Tour, I tried doing one video a week to see if I could, and I could, but I wasn't having fun with those videos. They really took a lot out of me to do, and I never want to produce anything that I'm not having fun with, because I truly believe that if I'm not having fun with it, you guys won't have fun with it. And I never want that, because then, I mean, it's all about having fun with people, right? I want to have fun with people, and making them feel like they're not having fun, it's the exact opposite of that. So that's exactly why I wanted to do that. So, you know, yeah, that's pretty much a lot of the stuff that I had for, you know, the beef character in the channel. Like, that was pretty much... Yeah, oh, right, there was one more thing here. I have all these little post-it notes of old ideas that I stack somewhere, and I was actually going to make a joke constantly about consulting Tobin's Spirit Guide, because I'm a very big Ghostbusters fan, and the Ghostbusters animated cartoon was one of my favorites when I was younger. Like, I absolutely loved the Ghostbusters and their entire theme and their cartoon. You know, I've even talked about the animated Ghostbusters cartoon before. Most likely because it's probably on Netflix right now. And I just finished watching it probably back in midsummer, right? That was my midsummer show to watch when I would turn in for the night. Because when I go to bed, I usually put on a TV show, right? Something I've seen before, usually. Something that won't capture my attention entirely. So I never watch a brand new show. Like, I've been meaning to watch Riverdale on Netflix. That's on my, like, to-watch list super hard because I want to see that. But I'll never watch that as a turn-in-for-the-night series, because that would make me stay up far later than I'd want to, because I'd be invested in watching the show if it was good. And I never want to risk that. When I want to go to bed, I want to be able to fall asleep. So that's just how that is. So that was the last little joke that I was going to use in the What Beef reviews and the Monster reviews that never made it. There was some other stuff, but I might plan on using them, so I don't want to spoil everything. Got to give you guys something to look forward to. So, yeah, the whole new recording ideas. I think I detailed those in the latest Okami episode, but this is what actually sparked the idea, was these episodes breaking down. And these episodes breaking down and having all these technical problems that I always have and I never catch them, they would always affect about 4 to 6 videos in a batch, because that's how I recorded. I recorded for about 2 to 3 hours, depending, right? And then I would cut those up into proper sized episodes. But the thing was, is if something went wrong, I didn't notice until after it was all done. And that was huge. That was why I had so many errors in A Hat in Time, in Cuphead, and even now, like, this error had taken away half of the episodes, right? Because in the last episode, it cut off about 5-7 minutes in, right? And then it had nothing after that, because it couldn't recover that lost data when I went to hit save and it crashed. So my new idea, which I outlined in Okami, is that I'm going to be individually recording episodes. I'm going to go sit down, record an episode, then go and pause the recording, make sure it offloads, hit Control S on the audio recording, start a new audio recording file, and then do that, and then start a new capture device recording file, and then that way I'll have each individual episode. They'll all have their own corresponding files, and if something goes wrong, I only lose one episode, right? And then in between, I can fix it, and then get back to recording episodes that aren't broken. So that's the new recording idea I'll be doing, and I've actually started doing it. The newest episodes of Okami are in that new format, and all new episodes of Grim Fandango will also be like that. You don't have to worry about the What's This series, because the What's This series already does that, right? That's how I do the What's This series, is I sit down for 40 minutes or so, right? 30 to 45 minutes, however long it takes, and I play through the first impressions of a game, and I give you guys hopefully some good stuff. I like doing What's This. It gives me a chance to work through my backlog of games that I've been meaning to try, just because I've either got them for free or downloaded them from Steam or Humble Bundle. I've mentioned those before. But, right, that's just my jam. That's what I wanted to... It'll also help me cut down on how many games I have installed, because if I don't like them and I don't want to play them again, I'll get rid of them. Or if I do like them, like freaking Meatbags, then I'll keep playing them. Zombie Party was also pretty cool, too. I pretty much did everything I wanted to do in that game, though. So I may keep it installed for a little bit longer, but I might uninstall it. I don't know. It was fun for the short while I did it. I also cheesed the roulette machine in that game. I don't know if I told you about this, but I cheesed the roulette wheel because the outcomes on the roulette are always the same, and you can time it where the icons stop. So I literally just sat there for a few hours, perfectly timing each different outcome until it no longer gave me a reward for any of the possible outcomes, and then I unlocked everything. There you go. GG. I know it sounds really cheap, but oh well, if they didn't want it to be cheap, then they should have made it more random. And if I was ever running out of coins, I would literally just make sure that I got the jackpot, the 777s, and I would get thousands of coins, and I ended up with like 30,000 coins near the end because I just kept winning more coins. It was ridiculous. But one of the new Kickstarter games that I actually got in the mail just before Christmas, that I'm really excited that most of my friends are enjoying, was a campaign for a game called Dice Throne. Now, I'll put an image of it on screen, maybe even a link to it so you can go check it out. But it is a mix of a card-based game and a dice-based game and a role-playing game. So there's 6 characters in the box, or at least 6 characters that I got in the box. I also stopped there to laugh at the tuna can with the rabbit on it. That was funny to me. But yeah, so it's got 6 characters that you can play out of the box for the Kickstarter version, and they all have their own unique flavor in how they play. They also have individual dice for each character. And what you do is you start off your round, you gain some combat points, which are like your mana, essentially. Then you draw a card, which are, your special effects that you can do. And then you can either play cards by spending CP, or sometimes not spending CP, because they could cost free. And then after you're done with that, you start rolling dice. And it's kind of like a Yahtzee mechanic, where your character has this big board. Well, it's not very big, but it's moderately sized, that has a bunch of different dice face outcomes. So you could have, 3 swords will give you an attack. 4 swords will give you a stronger attack. 5 swords will give you your strongest basic attack. Or you could roll 3 of one of your special icons, and that will give you an effect. Or if you roll... oh, remember to block out my friend playing their Switch game. Remember to block that out, me. And, right, or if you roll like 4 of a special icon, you'll get something even more powerful. Or if you roll 3 swords and a special icon, you can do like a special basic attack, which will sometimes give you a buff, or put a debuff on them, and then it will also do damage. And the whole way the game is done is by rolling these dice. And it's a Yahtzee mechanic, so there is an ultimate ability for each character. So if you roll all 6s, or manage to save up all 6s, you do your ultimate ability, which can turn the tides of the game insanely. So there are also cards that will help you tip the dice, so you can either tip it 1 lower or 1 higher. So if you want to make it to a specific outcome, that's how you do it. And it really does help getting your ultimate ability up. Like, I once rolled 3 6s last night when I was playing it on New Year's Eve with my friends there, and I had a card that said twice as wild, which made me allowed to be able to switch 2 dice up to whatever result. So I changed the 2 dice that weren't 6s to 6s, and then I unleashed my ultimate ability on them and crushed them. It was fantastic, right? But opponents also have the ability to play cards to screw over your abilities, even your ultimate. Your ultimate only resolves if nobody plays a card against that. So then after you've rolled your offense, you roll for your targeting, right, to see who you hit, and then they get to roll for defense. So they get to either come back at you with an attack, or like heal up or negate damage. There are certain characters that negate damage, certain characters counterattack, and certain characters do a bunch of other things. But it looks like I'm running out of time here on this timer, so I will have to see you all on a proper recorded episode of Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle here on Bite Size Beefs. Thank you all so much for understanding, and we will see you next time. Take care, everybody.